friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Xoxo, this is Xoxo Tarot, and in today's reading we are going to be asking the question, should you hold on or let go? Now this can be related to literally everything. It could be or anything, not everything, anything. Whether it's about a job, a space that you're in, a place that you're in, a relationship you're in. Though if it's a relationship, do not be sending some upset exes at me, okay? I'm not your scapegoat, with peace and love. But with that being said, I feel like a lot of us right now are in a place of making decisions and having truths come to light. So hopefully this reading will be helpful. So what we're going to do today is pretty simple and straightforward. On the left side of the screen, that is going to be the category of holding on, and on the right side of the screen is going to be the category of letting go. And what we're going to do to essentially check the energy and make sure you get the right reading is we're going to look at what are the underlying motivations if you hold on to this thing that you're asking about, and also what are the underlying motivations if you let go of this thing that you're asking about. So if what I'm talking about doesn't make sense for why you would hold on or let go, then I would try a different group because you've got the wrong one. Now, after we look at those two things, then we're going to look at what would happen if you chose to hold on, or what would happen if you choose to let go. So we're looking at the outcome based on whatever decision you make. And then I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask a question, ideally in the format of yes or no, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. And I'll give you the opportunity to ask a question for each section and see what the response is, and then we'll finish off with some guidance. So pretty straightforward. Excited and happy to announce that I'm gonna be back. Cards and Stars is done. Thank you to everyone who showed up and who signed up. It was such a wonderful class, and of course I know there's many of you who are signed up but just haven't started the class yet. It's there, it's ready, all the coursework is there, and I must say it is absolutely fantastic. And you should feel like you should just be really happy and excited if you got it, because you got some excellent content for a steal. But with that being said, I am going to be thankfully a lot more available now and get back to posting as I work on other classes in the background. So if you guys have anything that you would like to learn from me, let me know. So we have 3 different groups for you to choose from today. So starting with group number 1, we are going to be using the Alchemy of the Spirit Oracle, and I have this rose quartz sun on top. And then for group number 2, we are going to be using the Chakra Wisdom Oracle, and I have this rainbow heart on top. And finally, for group number 3, we are going to be using the Runners of the Sun Oracle deck, and I have this rainbow clear quartz on top. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which group you feel most drawn to. It's absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one, especially if you're asking about more than one topic, or you need to deduce which group is yours. Like I said, if the intentions and motivations behind holding on and letting go do resonate, you found the right reading. If they don't, try another group. Intro squad, I don't have fire to light a candle with me. But I miss you. Hi, how are you? You guys are my favorites. And actually, I would say don't tell them, but no, you deserve the open praise. You guys are my favorites. Intro squad and email squad. So if you want to be my double favorite, you should be signed up for my email list. But with that being said, intro squad. What? Oh my God, did you just hear my stomach? I really hope you didn't. What's something that you do now, or that you've discovered about yourself, that the younger version of you would scoff at or think is insane? Or, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I really hope you can't see my stomach. I'm gonna have to eat some cheese after this. But like, what is something that you have, like, that you do now that you're like, I can't believe I'm like this. Like, the younger version of me would be so shocked at that. For me, I feel like it's just it sounds bad, but exercise in general, but specifically like Pilates. Like, I'm kind of a Pilates girly now, and I'm really enjoying it. And I've been on this kind of like journey of actually connecting to my body, because that's hard for me. And I don't know, I'm just kind of discovering this athletic side of myself that I never really realized was there, because I never really felt like comfortable or connected to my body growing up. And so I kind of formed an ego identity around like not working out or like not being a gym person, which, to be fair, I'm not a gym person. I am a workout at home person. But yeah, I'm really loving Pilates. I love yoga too. Yoga is so good for your brain, and that's what I started doing, and I don't regret that. If you ever do, like, if you're not a very physical person and you find exercise daunting, even though you know you need to, I would really start with like gentle yoga, because I feel like that helped me build the confidence to like actually start doing more. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. Like, the body is a cool thing, and it's really cool to feel a sense of like control over your body. I think that there's a lot of things that I didn't know about when it comes to health that I know now, and it's just really empowering to feel like I can, focus on my health and know what I need in order to be healthy, and advocate for myself properly. So yeah, I think that's something that I would find crazy. Now, my younger self, if she knew that I was reading tarot cards on YouTube, honestly, I think that the younger version of me would find it less surprising than like the 19 or 18-year-old version of me would. I feel like the younger version of me would be like, yeah, I knew we were awesome. Like, of course we're doing awesome things, but okay, yeah, let me know. Yeah, and also flip it. If there's anything that like you knew you would be doing and you're doing it now, what are those things? So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I'm gonna go ahead and get to the readings. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being here. I love you guys so much. And once you've picked your group or groups, you can go ahead and scroll down to the description box or the comment section where I have all your timestamps listed below, and I will see you in your reading. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Rose Quartz Sun and the Alchemy of the Spirit Oracle, this is going to be your reading on should you hold on or should you let go of whatever you are asking about. This can be about anything, any topic where you are considering holding on or letting go. So the left side of the screen is going to be the timeline where you choose holding on. The right side of the screen is going to be timeline where you choose letting go. So to start, we're going to look at what your underlying motivations are for holding on and what your underlying motivations are for letting go of this thing, whatever it is. So if this part does not resonate, this is not your reading, and I would try a different group. But if it does resonate, you found the right group. So what are group one's underlying motivations for holding on? We have the High Priestess and we have the Panther. I feel like whatever you're asking about, your underlying motivations for holding on are because you intuitively feel drawn to holding on. But also with this Panther here, there's like this fierce energy behind holding on, where I feel like when it comes to whatever this thing is, it holds a lot of meaning for you personally. And it also is deeply connected to your sense of self-worth and self-esteem, in the sense that how you address whatever this is that you're considering holding on to or letting go of, how you address it, I think, could empower or disempower your self-esteem. And so I see your underlying motivations for holding on to be centered around the fact that that's literally what you feel drawn to. Like, you feel a gut instinct and a pull towards that. But also, I think that if you're being vulnerable with yourself, I feel like there is a part of you that, well, actually, let's lay out what your underlying motivations for letting go are, and then we'll go deeper, because I feel like I need that to bounce off of. Okay, so your underlying motivations for letting go of this thing are the Hermit in reverse, okay, and the Money. So I think your underlying motivations for letting go have very little to do with what you want, and have a lot more to do with external expectation, or what you think others want of you, or what you think you should do, or what others are saying you should do, or what they think you should do. Especially considering we have the Hermit in reverse here, it kind of seems like the underlying motivations behind letting go do ignore your own feelings and desires. They ignore your own inner world and your own intuitive inklings. Not only that, but with the Bunny being here, I feel like part of why you're even considering letting go is because I think you may be around people that either underestimate you or are trying to protect you and keep you safe, but in doing so don't realize that they're actually showing that they either don't have faith in you, or that they don't trust you to be able to make your own choices. Like, I feel like your capabilities, like the level of danger that you're actually facing, I think is much slimmer, and if any at all. I mean, I think maybe for some of you the only danger you're truly worried about is the danger of failure and what might come with that. But when we look at holding on, not only is the High Priestess here, which shows that you're connecting to a gut instinct that's telling you to hold on, but the Panther is a predator and the Bunny is a prey animal. And I feel like the outside influences that might be telling you to let go, I feel like they see you as, and I don't even think they consciously realize this, I feel like they see themselves as protecting you. But it's kind of like, I heard the phrase, I know why the cage bird sings, in my head just now. It's kind of like that. It's like the people that are of the opinion that you should let go, or maybe it's not people that you directly know, but maybe just collective opinion that maybe you're having a hard time letting go of, because maybe you see some truth in it, even though I feel like your underlying motivations for letting go are rooted inherently in fear, and rooted in keeping yourself small and keeping yourself contained, and also favoring outside opinion over your own intuitive nudges. Whereas I feel like with the option to hold on, whatever this thing is, I think you know that the story of whatever this is that you're holding on to isn't over yet, and also you can handle what comes your way. Like, you don't need to see clearly ahead in order to be able to handle what's ahead. And in fact, I think that you're actually wired and attuned to be in the environment or be following the path of whatever you're holding on to. You know, I think about the Panther, and the Panther can see really well at night, and their bodies are made for their environments. And I think that what keeps you small is letting others dictate and narrate what's best for you, because I think that you've definitely done a lot of healing, and I really want to acknowledge that. Even if you don't realize it, you have. Like, you've grown a lot, and you've gotten a lot better at tuning into your own intuition, and I can see that your intuition here is speaking to you loud and clear. I think the only two mouthpieces that are really keeping you open to this idea of letting go, I think the energies behind the voices convincing you of letting go are not only, I bet they feel bad and wrong when you hear them. Like, emotionally, it feels like icky to even think about that being a possibility. But then at the same time, it's like you feel guilt and you feel fear, like, what if they're right? Because I feel like this letting go energy is kind of playing it safe. And it's also, I think it is, it also is something that, like, if you let go, I think it brings you back to square one in a way where, yes, you have a lot of potential to do many things, but it seems like whatever you're holding on to is a little bit more established and something that you feel connected to. I think that maybe what you're feeling connected to and what you're holding on to is something that maybe others don't understand the value of it in your life and in your world. And I think obviously, like, you're a great person and you have a lot of wonderful qualities, and so I think the well-meaning people around you might be saying like, oh, well, you have so much potential in this area, like, you know, for example, I was told by like people around me like that I should really go to law school, and that was something that I was thinking about doing. Actually, it's something I would technically love to do if it wasn't so expensive, but I don't know if I would ever want to do that as a career. And like, obviously, like, it's something that, like, the potential is there, and I think that there's like meaningful things about it, and it's something that I maybe consider for the future, like if that opened up. But like, obviously I can't do that and this, you know what I mean? Like, we got to make decisions in life. I feel like in a similar sense, it's like you're seeing potentials where it's like you have strengths in other areas, but like, you know, for example, with the law thing, I know that in a lot of ways I would be miserable because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's very like soul sucking. Like, and I think that what you, like, your motivations for holding on, like, on a soul level, it's because your soul is like saying, hey, like, this is what aligns with us. I feel like the underlying motivations for letting go are kind of just rooted in disempowerment and like wanting to feel safe, and maybe also wanting to feel the approval of some of the people around you, because maybe like you feel this underlying guilt when you're around them because of the decisions that you make. But anyway, I do see that these underlying motivations are rooted in trying to keep yourself safe. And I think also there's a part of you that does feel like, okay, well, if I did let go, then it would open up like a wide array of possibilities. Like, you know, it would be, I think there's a part of you that is drawn to the idea of a fresh start, just because I think where you're at right now with what you're considering holding on to or letting go of, I think there's just a level of commitment and perseverance with it that you don't get to experience, like the excitement and freshness of like a new start or something that you've just begun. So I think there's a part of you that's maybe romanticizing that a little bit and forgetting like how daunting, you know, starting things over can be. And I think one thing you're also not thinking about is, well, actually, let's see the outcomes of what will happen if you choose to hold on or let go. So if you choose to hold on, this is the current outcome that you will experience. So for that, we have the Knight of Wands, and we have the Forest. And if you choose to let go, we have the Moon, and we have the Compass. Yeah, okay. It's really interesting because your underlying motivations for holding on both have to do with your solar plexus chakra. And that energy center is responsible for things like self-esteem, confidence, empowerment, connection to self, sovereignty, things like that, power of will. And I really think that this crossroads that you're experiencing is really one where it's asking you, are you going to choose what feels true to you, or are you going to choose what feels safe to you? And if you choose what feels safe to you, here's what I see happening. I see, number one, your mental health being affected by this. Maybe even your physical health a little bit. I feel like there's a general melancholy that you might find that you have that actually may really be resentment that you're burying very deeply. And I feel like a lot of that resentment is actually directed at yourself, because you feel like, because I feel like in choosing to let go of this thing, there's also a part of you that is like giving up. And even though there's openness for what can happen, I think the reality of choosing to let go of this thing before, when it doesn't feel aligned, I think not only is it going to bring you a lot of fear, like it's going to compound the fear you already feel, but it's going to be incredibly challenging to trust yourself and navigate your path forward, because you're going to be, once again, trying to feel between what's right for me and what isn't. And I think giving, well, you know, the fact that both outcomes have to do with the throat chakra, you know, which has to do with truth and communication, I think that your ability to be connected to your truth, your ability to have clarity on your path, I think that that's going to diminish quite greatly if you choose to let go of this thing. Just because with the moon here, I do see like challenges with navigating, and I think that it's kind of like taking a detour for your, this choice is really kind of, do you want to move forward, or do we need to take a detour to learn this powerful thing so that then we can move forward? And now I guess whatever you're holding on to, it doesn't, like, if you chose to let go of it, you could always come back to that. But I think there is a part of you that will kind of grieve letting go of this thing. And so I think you will kind of remove yourself a bit from, you'll remove yourself from whatever you're holding on to. And that will make it harder and more daunting and more overwhelming to return to it if it's possible in the future. So there does feel like there does seem to be this permanence if you choose to let go. And your path doesn't become any clearer. In fact, it actually just becomes overwhelming. And like the fresh start that you might have been romanticizing, you realize is like you closed a door on something that, you know, your intuition was telling you not to. And now you're even less clear on where you want to go and what you want to do. I definitely think that you might even feel like you need to detach from your own like intuitive and emotional bodies, because it's just like processing the decision, number one, seeing the outcome and how you're feeling about that, number two, are going to be overwhelming. But then number three, I think there's also going to be part of you that's like, I don't know if I can trust myself. Like, I feel like you're going to be in a place where it's going to feel daunting and challenging to really trust yourself, because you're in that pattern of doing what feels safer. Now, if you choose to hold on, I do see, no matter what changes, like there's going to be change that happens here, but I don't see like letting go of this thing bringing positive change to your world. I think if anything, it's bringing challenging, overwhelming, and confusing change. But with the Knight of Wands here and this Forest card, this is daring change. This is the energy of holding on and choosing to go on the ride of whatever the pathway forward is, but it does require a level of courage and boldness, and actually I think surrendering to what your intuition is asking of you. That is when I feel like you're going to be more open and actually attract beneficial mentors that can assist you on your path. It seems like whatever you're holding on to, there's no one in your world right now that seems to be able to give you guidance or give you support around whatever it is that you're holding on to, because maybe they don't have similar experiences, or it's just their way of doing things isn't resonant for you. I see that you could, one of the outcomes of choosing to hold on is that you could travel a lot, or meet some sort of mentor or guide through traveling, or meet a guide or like mentor online and meet up with them by traveling. But I just see life being a lot more exciting and lighter. I think there's a part of you that is waiting to like believe in yourself. And I think that the way to truly believe in yourself is to feel the fear and do it anyway. And I think in the outcome of choosing to hold on, there's that choice is showing yourself that you have conviction in your own internal compass, and that even if you don't know the way out of the forest or the path or the pathway forward, you're brave enough to try, and you're going to keep moving forward and facing things as they come. I think that also when it comes to holding on to this thing, I think actually one of the exciting things about this is that the energy of whatever you're holding on to, if you choose to hold on to it, after that choice, the energy of what you're holding on to, I think it's going to be in kind of a transient state. So it's going to be, things are going to be moving really quickly. And I think you're going to be getting the help you need when you truly do need guidance and you can't handle something on your own in these circumstances. But ultimately, I feel like you're going to be just propelled forward in life in a way where you're feeling connected to your higher self, confident in yourself, and life is going to be moving faster and speeding up. Whereas like with the moon here, it's like you literally have to go slow because things are so foggy. Like it would be dangerous and reckless to go fast. Like you can't even move forward quickly because you don't know where you are. So I mean, if I'm being honest, like this is just my opinion, you don't have to take it, but you know, I love giving it. It does seem like holding on is a lot more resonant for those of you that pick this group. And it definitely seems like the only thing that's making you consider letting go is the fear of failing or the fear of missing out on something else, or just the fear of unknowns. I think there's a part of you that's like, well, what if I'm doing the wrong thing? And there's really no such thing as the right thing. That being said, though, I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to ask a yes or no question about both categories. But while I'm shuffling, if you are enjoying, thank you for leaving me a like, and shout out to everyone who takes the time to let the ads play, because that's just really helpful, especially in this month of December. So thank you to everyone who does that. But with that being said, think of a yes or no question related to if you choose to hold on. Think of a yes or no question related to if you choose to let go, and we'll see what the answers are. Feel free to pause this and write them down, or just get your thoughts straight. Or if you want to do just 1 and 2 and ask your own questions not related to this, you can do that as well, but I'm not gonna interpret that. So when it comes to holding on, Group 1's question when it comes to holding on, what is the answer to Group 1's question? Okay, 3 cards came out, so let's see what they said. No for now, no but, no doubt. So it seems like whatever you're asking about, no, not right now, but it seems like there's some sort of outcome assured. That's like no doubt you'll get there, but for now, no. But will you get there? No doubt. That's what I see. And also these cards have names on them, so Lissy, Aja, Honey. Cute. Okay. If group number 1, if they choose to let go, when it comes to group number 1's question about letting go, what is the answer to group number 1's question around letting go? Took me a minute to form that sentence. By all means. So the answer to whatever your question is for that is by all means. If it doesn't make sense, if there's a gut feeling that you feel like answers the question, trust that. But if it also doesn't make sense, maybe you're not meant to know the answer right now. But we're gonna go ahead and finish this reading off by getting a little guidance card for you and seeing just what you need to know after you leave this reading. So I'm going to be using the Crystal Mandala Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And this deck has goddesses, ascended masters, and angels in it. So whatever being comes through is one that's supporting you on your journey that you can absolutely pray to or speak to. You don't have to. They're not going to be offended. But know that the divine is watching over you and is supporting you and helping you just be your best self and find your own path. So for group number 1, please, Spirit, who has guidance, support, wisdom to share with group 1? Whoa, that flew. Okay. Ooh, we have Persephone and Ruby with the inner queen. We bring you the empowerment of the inner queen. The inner queen exercises authority through divine feminine wisdom. Now, if the concept of like divine femininity makes you get stuck in the idea of like gender, instead of thinking of it as divine feminine, just think of it as like divine yin energy. It's not gendered anyway. Her empowerment is active within men and women that consciously seek to honor feeling, instinct, and intuition and choose to live their lives according to a moral code of compassion. Yeah, if I just had kept reading and not felt the need to elaborate, I would have solved my problem. When the inner queen stirs within, judgment is replaced with empathy. For your own suffering and that of others, you can understand that human beings who cannot resolve their suffering will unconsciously act out their pain in the world. They are unconsciously expressing their inner story with their outer actions, the story of their inner pain. The healing power of the inner queen brings inner pain to consciousness where it can finally be released and the soul freed. This can happen because of her compassion. She does not approach life with a fearful or judging nature, so she can move freely through all realms, witness great pain and darkness, and remain centered in her heart, shining a gentle light of intention for the liberation from suffering for all beings. She reminds us of our innate divine dignity and the healing power of our compassion. The oracle of the inner queen comes to you as a reminder that your compassion for yourself and for others is the source of your power. It gives you the ability to be moved by another's plight without taking on their suffering as your own, which would drain you and prevent you from being able to hold on to the gentle light of awareness for the person who needs it to heal. Her presence empowers you to care for the world without becoming distraught and fatigued. Compassion leaves you energized and motivated to work towards your sacred purpose in life of caring for the world in your own unique and creative way. Your compassion for the world will affirm your dignity and empower you to stay true to your own reality whilst respecting the experiences of others. If you have been judging yourself or another, then it is likely you've become enmeshed in their pain, tired, and perhaps even angry or afraid. If you are feeling used, abused, exploited, or taken advantage of in any way, then the inner queen rises up to remind you that you are royal. You are guided to seek out your inner divine dignity, summon your compassion for yourself and all others involved in the relevant situation, and give yourself permission to disengage from the drama, to step back and take care of your own needs first. Then you can respond rather than react to what is happening within you and around you. The inner queen within will help you gather energy back to your heart center so you can shine your compassion as you acknowledge that everyone is doing their best and everyone has the divine right and power to choose how they respond to the mysteries of life. The inner queen also brings you guidance to honor what you need to do with your life. You are a sovereign being, and honoring your spiritual truth is how you act as the guardian of your soul. In choosing that which honors you as you are, rather than trying to force yourself to be something or someone you are not naturally meant to be, you will gain so much energy. Life becomes easier, and the universe can support you. As you honor yourself in this way, you honor the divine, for it is the divine that lives in you, as you and created you to be as you are. Oh my God, I need to say that again. Life becomes easier and the universe can support you. As you honor yourself in this way, you honor the divine, for it is the divine that lives in you, as you, and created you to be as you are for sacred purpose, even if that remains a mystery to you at times. The inner queen is a priestess, a bridge or channel between the worlds. She brings messages from worlds beyond the earthly realm. If you've been wanting a message from one who has passed, consider this oracle a message that it has been given. Love is the answer to your question. This oracle supports you, in particular, if you are wanting to do work on spirit release, helping people honor death rather than fear it, to cross over with consciousness and dignity, and also if you wish to work with the divine feminine through dance, art, or music. It confirms that if you are interested in shamanic or any kind of transformational healing, if you wish to do any work that involves relaying messages between the worlds, such as channeling, trance mediumship, or automatic writing, then you are encouraged to pursue your studies in those areas as it will tap into a natural talent you have and develop it further in service to love. If you wish to work with the forces of the natural world, with family dynamics or male and female relationship dynamics, with young women healing from trauma and abuse, and with those trapped in darkness in any way, you are being encouraged to pursue that work. This oracle confirms that your interest in these areas is an indication that you can express your compassion effectively through such methods. Finally, if you have been in a time of darkness, craving light in life, this oracle affirms it is coming to an end and that you shall ascend with dignity, with wisdom, proud of all that you have learned and the growth that you have undertaken. So beautiful. Okay, and I think that that just wraps everything up so beautifully. So I'm just gonna hold this up and you can go ahead and screenshot this if you would like to do the healing process here. I'll also hold up the card so you can use the card as well, but if you have any rubies, you can use them with this process, or you can call in just the energy of ruby. That is the budget saving way to get the benefits of any crystal, really. That's the beauty. You don't even need to have the physical crystal. You can just call in the energy. Okay, there's that. And you know, it really makes me think, you know, how Persephone's mother wanted to keep her on Earth forever, you know, with her forever, safe forever. It does kind of make me think of the, should you, like, it kind of makes me think of the energy of letting go. You know, of course, Persephone's mother was not malicious. She just loved her child and didn't want to lose them. But in that process, you know, you can push them away because you're not letting them be themselves. But group number 1, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. So thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, leaving this video a like, commenting down below, letting me know how it resonated, and subscribing if you haven't already. Those are the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel, so thank you to everyone who does that. You should be signed up for my email list if you're not. If people sign up for my email list, get email list privileges. If I ever open up personal readings, you are only going to know about it through the email list. Other things, you can check out other videos, monthly extendeds, merch, social media, candles. You can use code ISA10. Be on the lookout for new classes and things like that. Another reason to be signed up for the email list. But yeah, I think that is, oh, you can leave me a tip. Cashapp is palehag. You can leave a super thanks. My PayPal is my email. You can leave me a little hype or something. I don't know. I don't even know what that does, but I want to be hype. Or you can just send me love. I'm sending you love right back. So that's all I have, you guys. Thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Rainbow Heart and the Chakra Wisdom Oracle, this is going to be your reading on should you hold on or let go of whatever you're asking about. It can be anything. So the left side of the screen is going to be under the category of holding on, and the right side of the screen is under the category of letting go. So we're going to start by looking at your underlying motivations for holding on to whatever it is you're asking about, and your underlying motivations for letting go of whatever it is you're asking about. If the motivations don't resonate for you, this isn't your reading. If they do, you found the right reading. So starting with your motivations for holding on, we have the 2 of Wands and release. And in terms of motivations behind letting go, we have perfection and the Hanged Woman. Okay. It's kind of funny to have release here as under the category of holding on. I promise I didn't get them mixed up or anything. Pretty careful with stuff like that. But I actually think this makes sense. And I would say I have a very clear scenario coming through here. So if this doesn't really resonate for you, and if I keep going and it continues to not resonate, if I bring up other things, pick a different group. But what I'm really seeing here is that there is something that you are trying to create, especially when it comes to your future, and you're already in the process of creating it. And so I can see why this is under the category of holding on. But I feel like what's actually I feel like you came to this reading asking about holding on or letting go of something, whatever it is, whatever you're asking about. I think it's deeper than that. And I actually think what this reading is about, whatever it is you're holding on or letting go to, it runs deeper. Okay, let me try to explain. So your motivations behind holding on are, there's some sort of emotional weight that seems to be more and more prevalent and apparent. And I think that this group specifically is pretty good at ignoring certain emotional weights that you don't want to, because I think that you are someone who is quite selfless, and I just see you carry a lot, and you probably internalize your emotions a little bit, but I feel like you've been undergoing a process of emotional healing, whether you know it or not. Even if you came to this video and you're like, I don't even believe in tarot cards, if you've randomly been emotional, recently, and like you don't know why, like whether, it doesn't matter what emotions it is, like if you've just been crying randomly or angry randomly, or like, that is a sign of just dealing with emotional processing. And I think that there is some sort of emotional weight, like I said, that is kind of getting bigger and bigger, but there's also an awareness within you that this emotional weight conflicts with some sort of habit or pattern that is comfortable, also likely codependent, but that is comfortable and is rooted in trying, I don't know what I would call it, like trying to be, like your underlying motivations for letting go, like what you're letting go of, whether you recognize it or not, if this reading is for you, is your own sovereignty and your own needs, desires, feelings, and experiences when it comes to life. Like, I feel like holding on, I feel like you're in a position where you could really move forward in life from a place of more sovereignty and freedom. And actually, that's kind of necessary in order to make these plans and these visions for the future that you're already creating more of a reality. And you know that. That's the thing, is you have recognized, and this comes into our motivation for letting go, you have recognized some sort of truth that your emotional body has shown you recently, that there are patterns that you're engaged in that, number one, get in the way of your ability to consider your own needs, because it kind of seems like you put the needs of others above yourself. But also, there is an ego need within you to make things right, to fix things, for everyone to be okay. And as a result, it seems like these underlying motivations here, like the motivation to let go of all these truths, because I think that is the root of what you're letting go of. You're choosing to compartmentalize your own truth and this emotional truth and your future. You're choosing to put your future on hold in order to do things how you think they should, or continue the pattern for the sake of either I have to see this through. Maybe you're stubbornly like, this is my role. I need to see it through, even if even if it's not for me. Or you may feel like you don't deserve to honor your emotional truths until everyone around you is okay. I do have to say that there could be something related to family here, because both this release card and the Hanged Woman card talk about issues related to family of origin. And so I do think that when it comes to holding on, I think that there's this internal, energetic, and emotional and I think actually even kind of physical process happening where you have the opportunity to purge a lot of unhelpful dynamics that are keeping you stuck in the past, that are, well, not stuck in the past, but holding you back from being able to move forward. It's like you're kind of spinning your wheels and staying in the same spot. And I think, you know, on a spiritual level, like this is crown chakra energy, you know, on a spiritual level and in your gut, because this is sacral, you feel the truth in, if I hold on to this truth, I have to make changes and release certain patterns of relating, patterns of behaving, ways of acting in my world, that in order to allow me to move forward and focus on my future. But if I do that, then I sacrifice the number one, the ability to feel like I'm doing everything I can to make sure everyone is okay. And number two, I think there is a part of you that knows and recognizes if you choose to kind of let go of these truths and continue moving forward the way you have, and patterns and dynamics that have brought you to this truth to begin with, you're doing that from a place of, you're not going to stop seeing the truth. You're just going to be accepting. Well, I wouldn't say accepting. I think you're just going to be swallowing the reality of your choices. Like, I think there's a part of you that knows you're going to have to deal with a lot of stuff that is frustrating and you see things differently. It's like any rose-colored glasses that could have covered up toxicity and a habit of relating where you martyr yourself or need to be the hero. You see the truth of that now, and actually you don't even get the same level of satisfaction, I think, in being the hero or being the martyr to others in the way you did in the past. And I think so there's this truth that keeps coming up in you, and I think it's come up in you in the past and you've chosen to let go of it because you felt, well, honestly, I don't think you felt, you thought that that was not, maybe you didn't even consider that your own needs and desires were even an option. But I also think that there is a part of you that may have felt like your self-esteem could really be rooted in being the one that others need. And I think that your underlying motivations for letting go of these truths are hoping that things can go back to the way that they were, because I feel like there is a part of you that doesn't know how to see yourself as acceptable if you're not like giving 105% of yourself all the time. But I think you also know that maybe some of your underlying motivations too are, you know, if the idea of acting on the truths that are being brought to your attention, you know, if acting on those things requires you to release things or make changes that put you first, if you're deeply uncomfortable with that, I think part of your motivation to not do that is to not have to take responsibility for your own life and have agency over it. I think there's a part of you that is almost motivated to keep to stay in the distorted pattern here, because keeping yourself and your needs and your focus away from yourself allows you to let go of any culpability you may have in why you're not where you want to be yet. And also it gives you an excuse to not have to focus on yourself. Whereas if you choose to hold on and actually listen to this truth and this feeling that's just getting bigger and bigger, you know, not only are you going to have to face it, but also it becomes real and you start moving forward. Like this is the energy of, okay, you've made the plan, you see things, but now we have to start bringing it into reality. And so I see this conflict here where the patterns of relating and the self-sacrifice and that you're used to and that is comfortable for you is not loving towards yourself. And I think that the motivations are right now is like, I think for you, self-sacrifice is love. And like, I think that's a way that you show love. But I think you're also recognizing it's not loving for me to give that much of myself but it is comfortable to do that. And so I think that your underlying motivations, like one is an idea of what you think is right, and also it's what feels comfortable. But then holding on to what this feeling is actually requires, it's funny, it's like the inverse. If you choose to hold on to this emotional truth and this weight, it's going to ask you to let go of the habits, patterns, beliefs, and roles that you've been taking on, that you've been clinging to, that have left you depleted, that have kept you unable to move towards your future and what you want. And when it comes to letting go, it's actually holding on to a pattern of relating that keeps you stuck, while letting go of the emotional truth that was calling you to make the change to begin with. So kind of an interesting inverse, but let's go ahead and see the outcomes of what will happen if you choose to hold on or let go. If you choose to go through the process of releasing the patterns that are holding you back, that are keeping you stuck, and that are making it challenging for you to move forward towards your future and create what you're already envisioning, or should you let go of that emotional truth and surrender to the habits of relating that are comfortable and stay there? Because maybe there is a part of you that's like, I don't want to move forward into the future until I'm happier with where everyone else is at, or I'm happier with or like I'm happier with the dynamics, you know, I want to fix those dynamics before I move forward. But it doesn't seem like the motivations here are to fix. I feel like that's probably something you would just be telling yourself to like make yourself feel better. And then I think you would continue doing the same thing you always do, because it would feel really daunting and weird. I just don't know how you would pivot into changing that dynamic, because you're just doing like that pattern is so ingrained in you and in those that you engage, and those that are also like engaging in that pattern with you. I mean, it is gonna feel like pushing a boulder uphill, trying to like instigate those changes when you haven't even instigated those changes within yourself. It's like you're not going to be able to change those dynamics when you're not able to change the internal dynamic within you that refuses to advocate for yourself or even listen to what you need so that you can advocate for yourself. And the part of you that needs to learn that you're worthy of advocating for, that you're not meant to be just the sacrificial lamb for everyone else. But okay, let's see what will happen if you choose to follow this truth. Like, I feel like I need to fix the wording so it's less confusing. But we have acceptance, and we have the King of Cups. And if you choose to let go of these truths and continue and just surrender to the dynamic that's always been, we have bittersweet and the Knight of Swords. Okay, so you have two options here. And I'm going to be entirely truthful with you. Choosing, I don't want to say let go and hold on, because like I feel like they're confusing, because really you're letting go of something here. So I guess I'm just going to call it, if you choose the route of perfection and the Hanged Woman, that's going to be a choice that you make in your head. And it's not going to be one that considers your needs, feelings, desires, or your future. In fact, I think you're even going to kind of recognize you're putting your future on hold. The outcome of that is that I think you will probably break your own heart a little bit and need to kind of sever your emotional connection to yourself, but you're not going to be able to entirely. So one interesting thing is I don't even know how long you're going to be able to stay in this pattern, because even if you choose to continue engaging in it, it's not going to hit the same as it used to. You've done too much healing and you've evolved too much as a person, unfortunately. Like, unfortunately, you're too wonderful and too powerful to give all of yourself away. And I see here that if you choose to go the way of keeping things the status quo, doing what you think is right, doing what you idealize, what you know works, what is comfortable, what has been your role. I think that a lot of powerful truths will be hit your way. I don't know what you'll do about them. In fact, actually, I think maybe even if you choose to continue this dynamic, you're going to cut it off anyway, because it's just going to feel worse and worse, and you're just going to kind of realize this isn't healthy for anyone. Because I do feel with this bittersweet card, like, I think that you will feel like a little bit of relief and satiation from engaging in the patterns and dynamics that feel comfortable. But the part of you that's awake and aware of the fact that it doesn't align with who you truly are, with where your spirit is calling you towards, with what has meaning for you and brings you joy, that part of you is going to get more and more bitter and actually start to feel resentful. And I think that you're going to kind of recognize how unhealthy that is. And I think you're going to realize also how that resentment is not only unhealthy towards yourself, but then could create like unhealthy levels of resentment with the people that you do care about, that you're in these dynamics with. It's like, I think you're going to realize, like, even if you do choose to go down this path and ignore these truths that have been revealed to you and ignore the future that you're trying to build, you're going to just keep engaging in the pattern, and you're going to be like, oh, this isn't going to work. Like, I'm going to have to go my own way. And I think there's going to be a bittersweet aspect of it, because it's like, I knew I should have done that all along. I knew I should have listened to myself all along, but I guess I needed to learn again. But I think that the outcome here is you get cold, hard truths that I do think you either choose to make changes around, or you sever yourself from your emotional body in order to tolerate, because emotionally speaking, your body, your mind, your spirit, your nervous system is not going to respond kindly to self-betrayal, and not be soothed by it the way it once was. You've just grown and healed too much. So there's either going to be a cutting off of yourself and like detaching from your emotional body to an unhealthy degree, and continuing to spin your wheels and go nowhere. If you're exhausted, I hope you enjoy continuing to go at a pace that exhausts you, because there's going to be more of that. Like, if you need a damn break, the only person that's going to give you a damn break is yourself, because certainly nobody around you is going to give it to you. But let's talk about what happens if you choose to listen and honor these emotional truths. We see powerful expansion into emotional sovereignty, and also truths revealed in ways that allow you to be free. This is emotional liberation and true freedom that allows you to recognize what compassion truly looks like and what codependency truly looks like. And instead of falling into patterns of codependence or patterns of engaging with the people that you love and care about in ways that neglect yourself or betray yourself, I think instead you're seeing them loud and clearly, and also recognizing that you're not responsible for other people's experiences, how they choose to see things, how they choose to interact. I think that one of the beautiful things about choosing to listen to your emotional energy is by listening to your own, you'll realize how much responsibility you are taking for others' emotional experiences and others' fears, others' worries, others' pain, others' need for help. I think you're going to realize how I kind of lost my train of thought there, but what I'm trying to say is that you're going to realize how much of yourself you are giving away. And I think you're also going to wake up to the fact, you're going to liberate yourself from feeling responsible. You're going to liberate yourself from feeling responsible for the trials others face, and realize that instead of enabling them, actually you're liberating them the same way you're liberating yourself, by giving up other people and yourself the space to process, the space to you know, just live life according to your own terms, and also like live in a way that is actually conducive and productive for the life that the future that you are already building and are already creating. It's like, why would you delay it further just to continue to ride a ride that you know is disappointing, draining, exhausting, and leads to nowhere but frustration? I think with choosing to step up and face the changes that these emotional truths are asking you, I think you gain a lot more confidence in listening to your own intuition and understanding how emotions are data, and that emotions give you valuable data about what is aligned with you and what isn't. When you feel anger, bitterness, resentment, frustration, exhaustion, dread, those are all communicating to you what isn't working and what isn't aligned, or where you're not safe, or where you're being taken advantage of. And I think that reclaiming your sovereignty, or claiming your sovereignty for the first time in your life, on an emotional level, will free you of feeling guilty, ashamed, or responsible for the problems of others, especially the problems of others that you've been expected to fix for them. And instead, I see you realizing that it feels a whole lot better doing what's best for you and dealing with the guilt that comes with that than it does neglecting yourself further, even though you know it's not right and it's not working for you, and choose to continue embodying the same pattern. I think that you could absolutely choose to continue like engaging in the pattern, but I think it's just going to be less and less satisfying over time, and you're just going to grow more and more resentful, and eventually the truth is going to kind of be seen to you. And I think at that point, it's going to be just at that point, like it's going to get so far that it's just going to be logical that you have to make changes. But your emotional truths are calling out to you now because they're saying, hey, things could be better. You could be more centered and aligned, and also like further along in life than you realize. And in fact, one thing that I see here, I mean, the fact that we have the crown chakra here and the root really tells me that you're reorienting yourself in a way that recognizes the pragmatic nature of emotion. Like acceptance, I think, is a big energy where when you start to choose yourself, you're going to see how other people respond to that. And I think what you're going to find is that it alone reveals a lot to you. And I think it's going to make it easier for you to accept and appreciate the new boundaries you're creating, because you're going to realize like, oh, this is exactly why I needed those boundaries. This dynamic would have never changed. I think there's a part of you that kind of optimistically, but also a bit naively thought that like the people that you're in these patterns with would just figure it out on their own eventually, but they're not going to figure it out on their own unless you give them the opportunity to figure it out on their own for once. And I think for you, there's a lot you're going to figure out on your own really fast. And I think like actually what's really interesting here is you might be stuck in cycles for a really long time, but once you know what needs to change and you're committed to making that happen, you can shift like that. And I really think like Spirit isn't showing what's going to happen when you follow these truths, because part of it is what you're creating. Like you have options. And I think part of you is just meant to enjoy like, oh my gosh, like it feels really good to consider myself. Oh my gosh, it feels really good to like listen to my needs and what I want. I think it's also going to make it easier to deal with any guilt and shame you have around putting yourself first for once. But I also think you're going to realize like, it's so much easier to create and propel myself forward and handle and face challenges when I'm not constantly running on empty and giving all of myself away. Like, I think you're going to actually be able to rest and relax and slow down. And ironically, life is going to speed up for you. Instead of spinning your wheels, you're actually going to be moving forward. And that comes with putting yourself first. So I think there's kind of a clear message here. And I think even if you choose what isn't aligned with you, you're going to be brought back to alignment one way or another. It's just like, do you want to climb the mountain with light gear? Or do you want to climb the mountain with an extra 50-pound backpack and take the long way that is way more difficult and unnecessary. It's your choice, but this is a pathway of becoming more aligned with yourself and not allowing your mental body to convince yourself that martyrdom, self-sacrifice, needing to be the hero for others is an acceptable form of relating anymore. It's not it's not an acceptable form of relating in the sense of it's not acceptable to like sovereignty of human beings. I mean, like, obviously nuance, right? But like in a long-standing dynamic, I think that the healthiest path forward is just honoring what you're being called to release now, because that truth is not going to go away even if you try to ignore it. And as you continue to avoid it, it's just going to get louder. But the outcome of like choosing to listen to these emotional truths is really just going to make you feel so much more empowered, feel like you can relax, and also just like enjoy life more. I also think you're going to see who's truly loyal to you and who has your best interests at heart in ways that will help you moving forward make good decisions about who you share your time and energy with, because you still are a generous person. It does feel good for you to help people, and that's a wonderful thing when it's in balance. And so you'll be able to reprioritize, who's worthy of my help, when is it good for me to help others, and when is it distorted for me to help others? You know what I mean? But I'm going to go ahead and give you the opportunity to ask a yes or no question related to each topic. So you can ask a yes or no question related to holding on and a yes or no question related to letting go. But we're going to start by looking at the answer to your question about category 1, honoring the emotional truth. Okay. For group 2's question around honoring emotional truth and holding on to that emotional truth and listening to what it says, when it comes to their question around this path, what is the answer to their question, please? We have let it go. So I feel like this is just further confirmation of like, yeah, what's being brought up to let go? Yeah, you're being called to let it go further. Or if you don't know what to do, maybe let go of the need to figure it out right now and just give the issue room to breathe. But when it comes to the questions surrounding letting go, I feel like I've been trolled in this reading with just how flip-flop the energies are. It's so funny. It's like let go of others to hold on to yourself, or let go of yourself to hold on to others. And the thing is you don't need to hold on to them. They will still be in your life. Maybe not in the same ways, and it might be uncomfortable not having them, like not being in a familiar dynamic, but that leaves the opportunity for growth and healing. But anyway, when it comes to the second category, choosing others over self, group 2, please, Spirit, what is the answer to group 2's question around that? We have 2. And so the answer for whatever your question is, it's by all means and very possible. So it could, if you feel drawn to one, you could just do that one. But if you feel drawn to both, take both. But I guess those are like kind of yeses, sort of. Take them how it resonates. If they don't resonate, you don't have to take them. But we're going to go ahead and finish off with some guidance for you. This deck has goddesses, ascended masters, and angels in it. So whatever being comes through is a being that is protecting you and supporting you in your process and watching over you. It's okay if you don't believe in that or anything like that. They're still doing it anyway. And even if you don't believe in it and think it's silly, feel free to ask them for help, or just say a little prayer, or just, talk to them like you would a friend, and be like, what should I do? And see what intuitive insights you get, because a lot of like what these truths are trying to show you like how your learned patterns suffocate your spirit and suffocate your joy, because you're just disconnected from like your own light and from And you can give so much more when you are connected to your own light. And you give in ways that don't deplete you and keep you stuck and keep you, you know, spinning your wheels. But anyway, group number 2, Spirit. Who has guidance, support, and healing available for group number 2? What does group number 2 need to know? Okay. We have Archangel Adnakiel and Tiger's Eye. Tiger Spirit rises. Love that. Okay, so let's see. We bring you the gift of Tiger Spirit rising. You are being empowered. I love when these ducks confirm what I was feeling. You are being empowered with a truth more potent than fear. Your spirit is rapidly expanding beyond what opinion and logic can contain. It needs to be free to run wild with divine grace in the world. Your life, your destiny, your divine fulfillment requires that you have the courage to roar for love, to refuse to be put down, to respect yourself, and to let your untamed loving heart be free. That's really what this is about, is freedom and like true emotional freedom. Because the thing is like, I think that you may see these dynamics you're in and be like, yeah, but I choose to be in them. So it's kind of my fault too. Like I deserve the repercussions. And it's like, okay, but the only reason why you're quote unquote choosing that is because you don't feel safe in the or comfortable in the emotional experience of stepping outside of the pattern. And the only way you're going to get comfortable with that is if you are willing to flow with the uncomfortable emotional experience of honoring the change being asked of you. And it's only in moving through that you get to the other side and get to experience a different feeling and the emotional wisdom that comes with seeing through feelings and realize, oh, it is safe to be uncomfortable. Oh, it is safe for me to choose myself and accept any guilt I may feel and recognize that that guilt doesn't have to dictate my action. It doesn't. Your life, your destiny, your divine fulfillment requires that you have the courage to roar for love, to refuse to be put down, to respect yourself, and to let your untamed loving heart be free. Your spirit creates a field of divine electricity through your body and mind that can liberate others from conformity and social conditioning, allowing them to break away from systems based in control and fear. As your tiger spirit rises, you excite and empower the tiger spirit and others to rise above the conditioning as they discover the wild divine spirit being they are in truth. So exactly. So it's like the people that you're helping or the people that you're giving so much of yourself to, they will rise as well. And it's like they need you to be that inspiration to get them to do the same. And if they don't want to, that's their choice. But they're not entitled to a specific version of you because they don't want to grow in the ways that you do. But know that you're not a bad person for putting yourself first. And the people that love you will understand that too. And they will find healing in following their own path too. The divine is loving, tender, and merciful. It is compassion, wisdom, and peace. It is also wild. This means it is what it is, natural and free with an instinct towards growth. It will not always make sense to the logical mind. Do you look at nature and understand her wild ways? Sometimes they make sense. Other times they are unfathomable to the mind. We may recoil or admire her handiwork, but life through her wild grace thrives. The divine spirit in you is wild too. It needs to grow and it will throw off any confines to its freedom to be what it is. It may take time, lifetimes in fact, yet when the strength has been built up sufficiently within, those who seek to control or tame you had better watch out. This is not selfish, nor is it cruel. It is not abandonment or betrayal. It is not escapism or immaturity. To shed conditioning one layer at a time takes courage. You have to trust in a self you don't fully recognize as yet. Your mind may tell you that if you don't play by the rules and force yourself to behave in particular ways as dictated by society, you'll become a monster without compassion, valuable, or lovableness, or that you'll become lazy, rejected, selfish, or alone. These are fears that the mind holds on to that keep you caged. What happens when you tap in to the wildness is that authenticity is discovered. You find out who you are. You give yourself permission to recognize that you are a spiritual being. You allow yourself to operate in broader ways than those dictated by society. You trust in spiritual laws and you are willing to take risks to bring authentic creative visions to life. When society tells you that for you to be successful, you must walk a particular path at a particular time in a particular way, you roar at it. You eschew the sort of fearful narrow-mindedness and jump on the back of your wild tiger nature, living life as a colorful, vibrant experience, which is unpredictable at times and yet so much more deeply soul satisfying than anything playing by society's rules could have brought to you. Allowing the wildness within will not make you a harmful influence in the world. Quite the opposite. It will free you to live in love as you choose. It opens you up to become a non-resistant channel for divine grace to flow through. Your life becomes filled with mystery and with magic. You feel like a full-color, high-definition version of yourself instead of the blurry, faded images that society would have you believe is a true reflection of your divine beauty. When this oracle comes to you, listen to this, you guys. There is an opportunity to break away from the tribe, to step into your divine destiny in a new way. In time, you will connect with a new conscious crew, but you may take some steps on your own for a while. It is going to take courage, but you have that in abundance. It might startle some people around you who don't understand what you are choosing or why. You might not even know exactly why yourself. If you feel an instinct within for growth, trust it. Your wild tiger spirit is rising, and this is lifting you out of the world you have known into an increasing vibrancy and radiant loving life. Roar loud and proud, your kindred tiger spirit souls will hear you and be drawn to your light. I love that so much. I feel like that just confirms everything we talked about and makes me feel better, because I feel like it was low-key a little bit confusing, so I hope I was clear enough. But there is a healing process here. If you would like to do that on your own, feel free to screenshot it, and then I'll also hold up the card if you want to screenshot that as well, so that you can do the healing process for yourself. If you have any tiger's eye, you can use that as well. But here is the card too. Okay, and pile 2, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That is the simplest, easiest, and most supportive way to support me and my channel, and not make me have to do extendeds or take sponsorships or things like that. I've never taken one, and I don't want to. If you would like to support me in other ways though, liking this video is super helpful. Thank you to everyone who does that. Comment down below, let me know how it resonates. Subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to notify whenever I upload a new reading. Check out merch, social media, candles. Be sure to use code ACE10. You can sign up for my email list. If I ever open readings, only my email list is going to know. I also send freebies in there and little fun stuff. Other things, you can leave me a tip. My Cashapp is palehag. My PayPal is my email. You can send me love. I'm sending you love right back. You can check out other videos, ones with extendeds. But yeah, I think that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I love you guys so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Rainbow Clear Quartz and the Runners of the Sun Oracle, this is going to be your reading on should you hold on or let go. So full breakdown of the reading in the intro, but we are going to start by looking at, on the left side of the screen, your underlying motivations for holding on to whatever it is you're asking about, and on the right side of the screen, your underlying motivations for letting go of whatever it is you're asking about. If this part does not resonate or does not make sense to you, this is not your reading, and I would try a different group. Okay, so let's start by looking at your motivations for holding on to whatever you're asking about. This can be anything. So for that, we have rest and the Four of Wands in reverse. And then your underlying motivations for letting go of what you're asking about is caretaker and the Tower. Okay. Oh, so it really seems like whatever you're asking about is something that once brought you a lot of joy, something that once was very happy, that felt like home, that was comfortable, something that made your heart very happy, that you felt like it was the natural next stage of your life. Like when whatever you're asking about or considering holding on to, when that came into your life, it felt like this is what I've been waiting for. Like it was a natural next step in your life, in your world. And it was very aligned with the version of you that you were at that time. Or it was very comfortable for the version of you at that time. It was harmonious enough that, well, no, not harmonious enough. I think it was a genuinely joyful thing in your life. However, with rest here, I do think that there's some sort of, while whatever you're holding on to doesn't seem to be fulfilling on a heart level and isn't harmonious right now, it does seem to be something you have emotional attachment to, period. Like sentimentality and also hope. I feel like there is a part of you, and I mean, the fact that the Four of Wands is here on in reverse, like, I do think that the potential for that same kind of joy is there, or you believe that the potential is there. I don't know. What I do know is that things that were once happy in terms of what you were holding on to are not. They seem to be disharmonious, dysfunctional, or disjointed. But it seems like there's some sort of protection or safety or burden lifted off your shoulders that holding on to this thing does, because we have rest here. And so I do think that your motivations for holding on are partially, you could just be exhausted, like maybe your energy levels are not great, or there's a part of you that's really afraid of addressing things. You may also just feel like your motivation for holding on is that you don't know, you don't want to let go prematurely of something that's brought you a lot of joy, and you're like, well, what if it becomes good again? Like, maybe I just need to like wait out this time and then things will restore balance. But it does seem like there's a part of you as well that like recognizes your own unhappiness in this situation, and also like your sadness or even grief over things in this situation used to be so good. Like, how did they get here? And I think there's a part of you that's like, you know, maybe these circumstances are just being exacerbated by exhaustion, or, you know, things just need time. Like, everybody deals with rough patches. Everybody has like hard times. You know, everything isn't always perfect. But I think part of you is motivated in the sense that part of you is kind of wanting to avoid it. But there's a reason why you came to this reading. And when we look at your motivations for letting go, I think there is a part of you that's recognizing either for yourself, you need more space or some sort of change. Or, you know, the way you're living, whatever you're holding on to, the way it is, something's gonna go down, like, because things can't stay the way that they are, it seems like. It's either like your motivation for letting go, I think, is initiating change that you're desiring, because I think part of you is exhausted, but at the same time, the part of you that wants to take control here and put yourself first, it also seems like in a way you're also not putting yourself first, because on an energetic and likely physical level you seem to be exhausted. And I think part of you knows that there's some sort of like, if you choose to let go of whatever this is, there's some sort of security or burden that you're going to be responsible for. You're going to be carrying a lot more in terms of taking care of yourself. But at the same time, I think part of you feels capable of that and wants that, but you feel like you're not capable of doing that, or not, you don't believe you're not capable of doing it. You might convince yourself of that sometimes, or be afraid that might be the case sometimes, but that's not true. The truth is, though, is that you are exhausted, and I think you find the concept of taking on that responsibility daunting and overwhelming. And part of you feels like, how am I going to have the energy for that when I don't have the energy to do even what I'm doing? And that isn't even as much as I would be doing if I did choose to let go of this thing. And so it seems like you feel kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, because I feel like for some of you, it's like you do desire this change, but you don't want to desire this change without something your heart wants to carry with you, or something that your heart wants to hold on to. And I think part of you doesn't know, just in general, like isn't sure, because like you're being given different signals by different parts of yourself. So like your body is signaling to you that it's exhausted and that it needs rest and it needs a break. Your spirit is signaling to you that things are off and things aren't quite right. And it seems like, considering we do have heart energy here, oh, I need to move this. I want you guys to see the rainbow. The rainbow's too pretty. Well, speaking of rainbows, I mean, maybe your current situation is stormy and it's really making you unhappy, and it's something like where the storms seem to get worse, or, you know, like the happy times don't seem to get better, or they don't seem to ever come, or when they do, it's like they don't even hit the same, or, you know, because of what has happened during like hard times with this situation, you know, it's possible too that like during the good times, it's hard to enjoy them because you might feel this sense of like resentment, but then again, at the same time, you don't want to, and you feel bad and you feel guilty about that, and you want to like, I feel like you want to hold on because it is what feels like safety and home, and it's what has brought you joy. But at the same time, there's something about this that is inherently not serving your sovereignty, your sense of self, and also your own empowerment. And it seems like the situation could actually be very toxic. I'm not sure, or I really hope it's not ABUSIVE, but if it is, I really hope you seek help from like the appropriate channels that can support you, whether it's online hotlines or shelters, services. Please, on like when you can, in a safe way, like please research those types of services in your area, because don't want anyone ever dealing with that. No one deserves to be in a situation like that. And if you are in a situation like that, I can say confidently that it will not be joyful. It will not be what it was in the beginning, because what it was in the beginning was a farce to convince you that that's who they were. Because I am seeing for some of you, this could be borderline ABUSIVE type behavior that you're being treated with, and you might be holding on to, because you might feel like I don't want to look like maybe admitting the truth to yourself makes you feel like dumb or incapable, but the truth is you're not dumb or incapable. Like, you were lied to, you were literally manipulated, and like intelligent people are lied to and manipulated all the time. Actually, fun fact, smart people are more likely to be recruited into cults, because they're, well, I guess it's not open-minded people, but higher intelligence can, I don't know. I don't know that. I'm saying that out of my ass, but like people that think deeply and people that search for meaning, people that, you know, have who are seeking knowledge and crave more awareness and knowledge in the world, they're the ones that are typically recruited for cults. Because if they're lost and they're not centered in themselves, they're just trying to grow and explore, and they're open to trying new things. So, if anything, it has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with intelligence, and everything to do with just being manipulated. And also, as a smart person, if someone is presenting a very wonderful front that seems to be genuine and you don't have a reason to question it, why would you question it? Like, we shouldn't have to anyway, I'm going on a tangent. I don't need to. I apologize. But I do feel like your motivations for letting go are that, you know, it seems like whatever situation you're in isn't sustainable anyway. It's like a part of you knows like things can't stay the way that they are, or maybe there is some sort of like conflict brewing or change like on the horizon where you're not sure if that's real or not. I feel like if you're in the group of like really your motivations for letting go, or the fact that, you know, like things need to change in order like for you to put yourself first in order for you to just like honor your sovereignty. I think there is a part of you that's like, I am willing to let go of that security and increase my burden if it means like choosing myself. But then also at the same time, it's like in choosing yourself, it's like you might be breaking your heart or facing a painful truth that what if it isn't true? What if this isn't always going to be disharmonious? What if this is just like a rough patch? Like what if like this is just a thing of just needing to hold on and see things through? So I don't know the answer, and it's ultimately going to be up to you to see the answer, but we're going to go ahead now and look at the outcome of if you choose to hold on and the outcome of if you choose to let go and see what's there so that we can get a better idea. So if you choose to hold on to whatever you're asking about, we have past lives and we have the Lovers in reverse. And if you choose to let go, we have the Gatekeepers upright and the Ace of Wands upright. Wow, okay. Yeah, for a lot of you, this does seem to be relationship related. You didn't see this video, okay? And your decision is your decision. Please don't make me your scapegoat, because some of y'all have before, and I don't want to deal with that. But you know, what can you do? Just politely request, or I guess sassily request. Anyway, if you choose to hold on, I think that you're going to be experiencing a pattern that you have experienced already, either in this lifetime or in past lives. It's actually quite possible that this person came into your life for a reason, and actually, like, you agreed to, especially since it felt so natural. You know, it's funny, in the other two groups, I was getting more people rather than person or situations that were broader, but with this I am getting like a pretty clear like relationship type thing, but it doesn't have to be. I apologize for those of you who this resonates, but it's not about a relationship. Like, it could be about home or change or just a feeling of comfortability. But anyway, choosing to hold on is mirroring a past life choice that you've already made. And if you don't believe in that, then a choice that's familiar to you in this lifetime, or a choice that's familiar to the energy that has embodied other life that now embodies you. I don't know. Fit it how it makes sense to you. This video must reach a lot of people that aren't very spiritual, because I feel the need to make those disclaimers, which totally fine doing. You don't need to believe in this stuff to watch it. All I care about is that you get something out of it. And yeah. You know, one thing that the Lovers just talk about is a choice. And choosing to hold on is choosing to separate yourself from yourself. And also choosing to separate yourself from your grounding and from your empowerment. The fact that we have past lives here, I do think for some of you, if you truly feel like the call to hold on, I think you have the opportunity to see why, or you have the opportunity to recognize enough time will pass that you see that things aren't going to change. However, there's a part of me that's even almost fearful of what sort of past life dynamics, and I'm just gonna say that, like, past life dynamics could come between you and this person. I do feel like you and this person, like, especially if this is a person or whatever you're asking about, there is some sort of past life or like deeper, like, it feels more like karmic than soul level connection here. But I mean, like, you're drawn to it, and like on a soul level, like, you've needed to address it in this lifetime. Like, I feel like whatever this is that you're asking about, that you're considering holding on to, like, it came into your life for a reason. Like, I feel like before you even came here, like, you agree, like, you and this person agreed to interact with each other and like I don't know if it's redo things or like do things differently or just have the opportunity. It's like same setup, but the opportunity to choose differently. And I think if you choose to hold on, you're doing the same thing a past version of you chose to do. And I believe that past version of you really regretted it, and also lost sight of themselves and their own connection to spirit and their own connection to like joy and emotion as well. The fact that we have this past lives card, like all of the black and white pictures, like it does make me feel like you could, I'm hearing Back to Black by Amy Winehouse in my head right now. I love Amy, and oh God, I just want to sit here and listen to it in my head because she's so talented, even in my head. You know, the phrase, you go back to her and I go back to black. If you're asking about a relationship and there has been infidelity, I do see that there could be further betrayal if you choose to hold on. Now, I'm not saying, if there is no history or assumption or belief of that, I'm not saying that there. I'm saying if you already know that that's happening or had that issue in the past and they said they would never do it again, if you're suspicious, I would keep your eyes open. But if whoever you're with has a history of doing that, I would say they're going to keep doing it. But it's almost like life loses its color for you when you choose to hold on, because you're quite literally severing yourself from your heart space and disconnecting yourself from your truth. I mean, it makes sense why we have solar plexus energy here under with your motivations to let go. It's because your sense of self, your power of will is saying, hey, we're losing ourselves to this situation. And your heart wants to hold on because, of course, like, that's what hearts do. And you have a loyal heart. You have such a loyal heart. And I think that's part of what's hard here. I feel like you are someone who does see the best in people and who does believe that people can change and who is patient with others. And I think that's a wonderful thing. But I think your spirit has also experienced losing their lives to someone or people or experiences that were truly unfulfilling, but that you held on to or chose to stay in, either maybe because you didn't have a choice. Let's just say that. Let's talk history. Maybe you didn't have a choice. Those past lives are here on Earth, in known recorded history. But also, you may have been like in a place at that time where there just wasn't enough like time in general to, I don't know, that seems like it's going down a whole other segue of like past life stuff. But what I do think here is that like, whether it's literally past lives beyond this lifetime or just within this lifetime, I think you're returning to a place where you become disconnected from yourself, where you lose yourself for the sake of love or for the sake of a greater ideal. It's almost like you lose your own form and you become not only the relationship, but just a reflection of your partner. And the thing is like, if you do choose to hold on, there's growth there, there's learning there. I really don't want any of you to choose to hold on to something that isn't loving towards you, that doesn't bring you joy, that doesn't make you feel loved. Because I mean, the people closest to us should be people that we feel safe with and that do make us feel loved. I do see here, I mean, the Lovers in reverse can speak to making a decision and regretting it. I do think a past version of you has chosen to hold on and has regretted it. And I think that will be a repeat. And actually, I think part of why you're so exhausted is because you're holding on. It makes me think of this image that you've probably seen on the internet before, but it's like there's like a rope wrapped around someone's hand, and it's like, you know, it looks really painful, like it's really red and tight, and like it's cutting off circulation on their hand. And it says sometimes it hurts more to hold on than it does to let go. And then when they let go of the rope, of course the pressure dissipates and their hand isn't being crushed. So I do think that there's definitely growth and learning for both of you if you choose to hold on to the situation. But I don't know if the growth and learning is the type of growth and learning, number one, that you need to go through. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's like, okay, it's like me buying cosmic brownies for the 50th time and being like, you know, they don't taste the way that they did as a kid. And I'm like, yeah, but like rainbow sprinkles. And I'm an adult, and all I wanted when I was younger was those damn cosmic brownies, and they seem to elude my young desires. And so I want to give them to myself. And then every time I do, I'm like, oh my God, these are gross. Well, they're not gross enough for me to not eat all of them, but not as satisfying as I thought. And honestly, too small to be that calorie dense. I don't think that's fair or okay. Like, anyway. The allure of the cosmic brownie and the hope of what I want the cosmic brownie to be is what keeps me coming back for more. And then I taste it, and then I remember it tastes like cardboard with icing on it and some cute yummy sprinkles. And really the icing and the sprinkles are really the only good part, which sucks. This means like most of it isn't good. And I just end up eating something unnecessary that my body doesn't need, and disappointed in myself because I'm like, why did I take a chance on you again? Why did I waste more of my money on you? So this dumb, convoluted analogy and or metaphor, point of it is that you could be holding on to this situation because it's your cosmic brownie. But it's probably more serious and deep than that. Mine's incredibly unserious, and something that I just need to have the discipline to like actually follow through on. Anyway, if you choose to let go, though, I just have to state outright, you'll get your energy back. Also, you will step into a place where you have security that doesn't compromise your sovereignty. In fact, having the gatekeepers here, I think that choosing to let go, the outcome of that leads you to breaking free of cycles that disempower you and cycles that leave you second. Actually, it's really interesting. In every single group, there has been a theme of whatever you're choosing to hold on or let go of. It's like either choosing to put yourself first or choosing to prioritize others over you, or choosing self-betrayal. And I think for you specifically, the most potent element of this is it seems like it's literally choosing an ideal, a relationship, a dynamic, whatever you're holding on to, choosing the ideal of it and choosing how it did make you feel, the security it did give you, the loyalty you do still have to it because you feel connected to it. All of that, the hope, all of that comes at the cost of your own agency and honoring your own needs and desires. And actually, one thing I see here is that it seems like in order to hold on to this thing, you're not allowed to pursue certain things, or you're not able to pursue certain things, maybe because of like, you know, just how much time and attention certain things take, how much just how much is going on. But it seems like if what you're holding on to, if holding on to that, you're partially doing that because you've been told that you're not capable of doing it on your own, or that certain things aren't for you, or that you shouldn't do things, not only are you gonna get all your energy back, but you're also gonna go 10 times further than you ever have before when it comes to truly going for what you want and following what excites you creatively, spiritually, artistically, magnetically. Like, I see you stepping into a new level of sovereignty and agency in your life where you're grounding into your sovereignty by choosing to put yourself first, by willfully bringing in change that may cause destruction of what you love and care about, because you know that you deserve to take up space, and also in truly loving situations, you don't have to lose yourself to maintain what you love, you know, because that just isn't loving inherently. And I think for you, the outcome of choosing to let go of this situation, it brings you into a new stage of life where things that were cut off from you or unavailable to you, either literally because of the circumstances you're holding on to, or you believed that they were blocked off to you because of what you're holding on to. Now there's a whole new world and a million new doors opening. And Spirit just dropped like a bunch of examples of people who left toxic situations and then really thrived creatively. Like, I don't know a ton about Vanderpump Rules because I only watched like 2 seasons, and it really stressed me out because I was like, oh, so it's just 10 seasons of this? I'll pass. Which, not to hate, I mean, I love Housewives, and just Vanderpump didn't do it. Vanderpump Rules didn't do it for me. Lisa Vanderpump, she is interesting to watch, so she does do it for me. I just feel really comfortable talking to you. Can I say that? Like, I don't know. Do I know you? Or like, you got Aries placements? Or like, Gemini, Libra? What's going on? Why do we vibe? Why do we vibe so much? Why do I want to like tell you 50 things that have nothing to do with the reading? Maybe because number one, you need to hear that. Like, you're someone people want to talk to. You're someone people want to hear your laugh. People want to see you smile. People want to hear your jokes. They want to hear your funny observations. They want to hear you. They want you to take up space. And I'm telling you right now, if the situation you're holding on to doesn't want you to laugh, doesn't want you to take up space, doesn't want you to be happy, it's taking everything in me right now not to be like, who do I need to like, it makes me feel very defensive and protective over you, because like in no way or in no world do you ever deserve to be in a situation, or to be in a situation where you don't get to shine as a human being, because you do naturally. And that's what choosing to let go will actually allow you. And it will be, and that's the thing. I see why you're hesitating, because it's like, you're creating destruction here. Like, even if things are unhappy, at least things are calm. Like, a lot of the tension seems to be under the surface, or like, you know, just in like small bouts. But choosing to let go not only means you're taking on a lot, but things are changing rapidly, and it's a lot for your system to handle. But the thing is I really noticed that in terms of letting go, both of your tarot cards are upright, and in terms of holding on, both of your tarot cards are reversed. And the cards that are holding on are related to the heart and crown chakras. And so I do feel like there is a part of you that is healing, that is recognizing, and that's why you're at this crossroads, that is recognizing connections can be divine and have soul or spiritual purposes, but sometimes if those purposes don't empower you to be more loving towards yourself, they might be mirrors to show you where you're not receiving the love you deserve, or where you're not in alignment with a love that is nourishing for you. But also, I think you are at a place in life where your heart is safe and ready and has enough support to not abandon itself for the sake of emotional security or some sort of affection or love. What I see here is that you've had a tendency to abandon yourself or neglect yourself or suppress yourself or hide yourself for the sake of receiving, you know, the sort of like connection that you want to experience, and also like to hold on to sensations you have experienced with what we're asking about. And the thing is like, you're meant to have things in your life that you don't have to hold on to, that are just blessings that exist in your orbit that you're naturally drawn to, and vice versa, like magnets, that don't require you to sacrifice yourself. In fact, being magnetized towards those sorts of situations actually do require you to have a sense of self and to shine your light. It's like, how can someone who honors who you truly are find you if you're not even being your authentic self? And I really think here, the only way you're going to be kept from the life, the love, and the type of connection and meaningful experiences you want, the only one keeping you from that is yourself, unless you're in a situation where your sovereignty is being infringed upon. In those cases, please get help. I am not equipped to help you there. But I, as a human that cares about you, like, I really hope that you're not in that situation. But what I do know is that if you choose to let go, not only are you going to get your energy back, but you're going to get like a new lease on life, and also feel so much safer and more empowered and secure, because I think you're going to realize it feels so much better to discover all these parts of me that I either forgot existed or didn't know were there, than it does to hold on to something that depletes my life force. I really do feel like choosing to let go is choosing to close a door, close the door, honestly, on an entire universe that is just a bunch of locked doors with no's written on them, and into a universe where there aren't even doors. There's just portals and walkways and like those cute arches and houses, you know, where there isn't a door, but it's more like open concept, you know, or maybe they put some cute like beads or something. I don't know. All I do know is that love for you should never, and for everyone truly, should never have to come at the expense of your own sovereignty and the sense of your own connection to self. And I really do think that choosing to let go, that is the part of you that's saying, hey, we need our light. We can't live like this. Like, this is truly choosing to snuff out your light, erase yourself, and stay small. For whatever reasons you may have. But what I do know is that what you're holding on to, you can have in a balanced way by choosing to let go. Whatever you go through here in choosing to let go, and I say this confidently, I wouldn't tell you this if this wasn't coming through and I didn't feel it so passionately. What you're holding on to, the universe wants you to have in a way that isn't distorted. They want you to have it in a way that actually nourishes you and helps you evolve and helps you step into the person, help you step into more of yourself and become more of yourself. And the difference between what you're holding on to and what you will usher in if you do choose to let go will be night and day. And it might take time to see what you usher in, because it takes time to heal and evolve and adapt to change. But the reality is that I think you're going to, number one, bounce back a lot quicker than you think. And I think you're also going to realize what you're holding on to, it's actually a huge relief to let go of. If you do choose to let go of it, you may not be ready to let go of it yet. But I do see choosing to hold on a level of regret and a repeating of cycles that are not conducive to living a loving life. And you might want to read All About Love by Bell Hooks. I'll write it down really quickly. I'm saying a lot now. Okay, All About. Now, if you are in a really toxic, or heaven forbid, abusive situation, one book I need to recommend to you is Why Does He Do That? I cannot remember the author, but I think every single human being should read this book. It is an essential book to read to understand the nature of those sorts of dynamics. And even if this situation is not like that, I would still recommend reading this book anyway, because it might put into context past experiences you've had, or just help keep you safe from those dynamics in the future. But All About Love, I think that will help you recognize what is and isn't loving, and so that not only that you can advocate for yourself better, but also be at greater peace around the decisions you make and the destruction you leave in your wake, because you realize, like, towers built on shitty foundations got to come down anyway. It's a hazard, right? If it can't withstand a storm, it shouldn't be standing, right? And I think that also it's time for you to step into an era of your life where the magic of the ethereal realms, the magic of the heart, and the magic of, like, just the fun, sweet aspects of life don't have to come at the expense of your joy, your spirit, your authenticity, your true self, and in fact support that instead. And you deserve to also know what it feels like to have someone fuel your fire in a positive way that makes you want to be even more of yourself, that makes you feel like even more of yourself, than someone that seems to just want you to set yourself on fire to keep them warm. Yeah, I don't know what situation you guys are in, but I do apologize for the people who their situation is not related to a person, because that one was just too strong. But the other two were more general, so maybe check out one of those. But at this point, thank you to everyone who takes time to leave me a like, because I just really appreciate that. And, you know, I think this message especially is really important. So, you know, leaving it a like allows others who may need to see this message find it for themselves too. But we're going to go ahead now, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask a yes or no question for each category. So I'm going to allow you to ask a yes or no question related to if you choose to hold on, and a yes or no question related to if you choose to let go. So if you want to pause this and write them down or decide, or if you just want to choose like your own questions not related to these two things and just do like 1 and 2, you can do that. But obviously I don't know what you're asking, so I can't interpret it. But you're smart, so you'll figure it out. Okay. For group number 3's question regarding choosing to hold on, what is the answer to group number 3's question? So the answer to group number 3's question is take action. When it comes to holding on, whatever you asked about around holding on, or for your first question, the answer is take action. Okay, so your question around letting go, or your second question for group number 3, please. What is the answer to group number 3's question around letting go, or around their second question? Affirmative. So this is a yes. Oh, and we have green light on the back of the deck. So I feel like there is a green light here for you to follow what feels right. Also, green light by Lord could be significant. Also, Penny, Zoe, Erica, those could be significant names since they came through here. But whatever you asked about for the second question is a yes, and the answer to the first question is take action. So however that makes sense to you. And if it doesn't make sense and you don't have an intuitive answer that comes to you, trust maybe you're not meant to have an answer quite yet, and keep your eyes peeled to see how the universe might answer it for you moving forward. That being said, though, we're going to go ahead and finish this reading off by getting some guidance for you, and I'm going to be using the Crystal Mandala Oracle by Alana Fairchild. This deck does contain angels, ascended masters, and goddesses. So whatever being comes through is a being that is supporting you and empowering you through this process. They're also a being that you can pray to or speak to or just ask for help to, or can and you don't even need to believe in them, but just know they're looking out for you and they care about you and they've got some guidance for you. So let's see who that is for you. So who has guidance for group number 3? And who is supporting group number 3 that would like to make themselves known? Ah, I love Freya so much. Oh, what a great goddess to come out. And actually, such a great goddess in general when it comes to self-love and putting yourself first. And the Untamed, yes. Like, look at how similar this Freya card is to this Tower card. Very interesting. That's what I gotta say. Okay. Let's read this bad boy. We bring you the empowerment of the untamed. To be untamed is to be true to oneself without condition. It is freedom, but it is not always easy. There are many belief systems, some of which are considered to be essential and beyond question to mainstream human society, which would mark an untamed spirit as a dangerous and suspicious creature, even though that untamed spirit serves unconditional love. Yet, to be tamed is the only way to discover who you are and live your divine destiny. Behind the clothing, social masks, and stories you tell yourself or that others tell you, there is a beautiful, wild, divine creature that wants out. Uncage the divinity and watch your wild beauty emerge as you and your world transform through raw grace. One of the most exciting, terrifying, liberating, and to those who live in fear, threatening thresholds you'll go through on the spiritual path is to unplug from mass conditioning. In the same way you imagine a cult member having to deprogram their mind. Oh my God, wasn't I talking about cults? I don't know if that was this group. As they exit the cult and rejoin normal society, there will be a point on the spiritual path where you realize that normal society is actually trapped in a cult-like mindset of its own. Miss Fairchild does not miss. That's just all I can say. And the freedom-loving divine rebel in you will want out. You can have your freedom, but you'll need courage. You'll go through loss. Admittedly, it's loss of what would ultimately suffocate your soul. What did I say? Thank you, Freya. But that might include people or places or things to which you have become attached. You may know it's the right thing to do to move on, yet you will need to grieve the loss. You'll spend some time in between worlds where you'll feel not quite in the past and not quite in the new life. You may have some travel companions for your transitional journey, but they won't necessarily feel like family. In fact, you may feel spiritually orphaned, lost and alone. The home that you left wasn't right for you, but now you are homeless and that doesn't seem to be right either. Fortunately, you are brave enough to keep going. You will find the place where you belong. Put simply, don't give up until you find it. When a wild animal has been wounded, it keeps on the move until it can find a safe place to rest and recover. Your instincts will guide you to do the same as you heal the wounds inflicted upon your body and mind by fear-based societal conditioning. You will eventually be strong enough to free yourself from the conditioning and belief systems that once hampered your heart and diminished your dreams. That's the thing. This past life energy, it diminishes your dreams. The dreams that spirit brought into your life. Like, you have gifts. You're not meant to be held back from them. If anyone keeps you small, do not listen to them. My ex-boyfriend, ex for a reason, once told me, you're going to be a teacher and that's all you'll ever be. And then I decided, it wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back, but one of the many things that made me decide, you're going to be my ex, and a lesson learned, and that is all that you are ever going to be. Thank you, next. I love kikiing with you. Who are you? Okay, I lost my place. You will eventually be strong enough to free yourself from the conditioning and belief systems that once hampered your heart and diminished your dreams. In due course, the deprogramming will shift to reprogramming. Instead of just fighting through fear, you'll begin to feel free. You will start to embrace new ideas, more loving realities, and put those new beliefs to the test. In time, you will not only find a way to live that feels authentic to your wild divine nature, but connections with other souls who have gone through their own unplugging process and with whom you will share your great love affair with life. This oracle brings you guidance. Do not allow fear-based reality to temper your spirit. Tame your heart or dull your dreams. There are so many people who will tell you no, call you crazy, and say that you are living in a dream world. That is what they need to believe, because your increasing aliveness is too much for them as yet. They aren't ready for it. What they say and believe is about them, not you or reality. Part of your unplugging process necessarily involves reclaiming the power you have given to any other person to hold an opinion that means more to you than the truths of your own heart. I started thinking in horror just a second ago while I was reading that. There's stuff like being a teacher is an incredibly admirable thing, and I was planning on doing that until I shifted courses and decided to go into like psychology stuff before I ever knew I was going to be doing this. I was planning on teaching, but I was considering other pathways at the time, and it just kind of seemed like he wanted to keep me in a very, I don't know, pathway that made him feel comfortable. I don't know. But I mean, I would still love to be a teacher if it weren't such a horrible environment for teachers right now. Like, my heart goes out to every single teacher. You've all my respect. Yeah, seriously, you guys are angels, and honestly, like, you guys kind of should all quit so that, but it's like, what can you do, right? You can't. I'm very passionate about, like, teachers deserve so much better than they get. So if you're a teacher, shout out to you. And if you, honestly, whatever you do, shout out to you. This oracle brings you guidance. Do not allow a fear-based reality to temper your spirit, tame your heart, or dull your dreams. Okay, yeah, I read that already. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so discombobulated here. Maybe you guys are kind of discombobulated too in your world, so maybe you really needed this. I don't know. I feel like I needed this just because, like, it's just comfortable to be in your energy, and I just, I appreciate how badass you are. I know you probably don't think that you're that badass, but it's just because you haven't seen how badass you truly are. And a lot of your badassery is going to be recognized upon reflection, not in the moment, because in the moment it's going to feel scary and unnatural and uncomfortable, and you're probably going to be focusing on all that and not how badass it is that you're still just brave enough to try and face it. But you'll recognize that later. So, but I'd like to acknowledge it now. Also know that the part of conditioning that and the lies that exist within the mainstream culture is that life within that system is safer and easier. This is completely untrue. When you learn to live wild and true, you'll see that it's so much easier for the universe to assist, uplift, inspire, and support you when you aren't cowering in fear trying to prevent life from reaching you. If you feel you or your life is out of control, or you feel you want to change but everyone thinks you are crazy, believe in yourself. Know that your wild spirit is being given an empowerment from the universal goddess of life to become untamed. So I will hold this up. Oh my god, yeah, you guys got like ASO Unleashed, ASO Extended. It's the third group. We get wild, you know. But I'm so grateful that you were here. If you stayed for the whole reading, leave me an orange heart or a daisy emoji. Those are just if you want to connect to Freya's energy, if you have any amber, you can do that there. But this is the healing practice you can do to connect with Freya and the empowering healing she is bringing. And here is her card if you want to screenshot that as well. But also, There is a book based on this called Crystal Goddesses 888. These are some of my favorite books in existence, and are very excellent, and Alana Fairchild dives much more deeply into all of these concepts in those books, and they're fantastic books, so highly recommend if that's accessible. But group number 3, that's where I'm gonna leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else, because that's the simplest and easiest way to show support and appreciation for my channel. It's also the easiest way to allow me to stay independent and keep posting and yeah, stay wild and free myself. If you'd like to support me in other ways, sign up for my email list, because that is the one way to, first of all, if I ever open readings, it will only be up to people on my email list. If you'd like to support me in other ways though, just liking the video, commenting down below, letting me know how it resonates, subscribing if you haven't already, clicking that little notification button to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. All of that is super helpful. Thank you to everyone who does that. Thank you to everyone who's a part of that. Shout out to my notification squad. Other ways to support, you can check out other videos, ones with extended. You can check out candles, you can use code ASO10, you can check out merch, social media, all that. You can leave me a tip. My Cash App is palehag. My PayPal is my email. You can leave me a super thanks or like a hype thing. I don't know what the hype thing does, but I wanna be hype. Yeah, or you can just send me good vibes, because I'm sending you good vibes right back, and I'm sending you so much love, and I really believe in you guys. I know that whatever you do choose, like, well, I'm gonna be biased and just say I really hope you choose yourself, because it'll be the best decision you ever made, and you will never regret choosing yourself. Never. But yeah, I love you guys so much, and I really hope you love yourselves too, and love yourselves enough to trust that you're worthy of what it takes to feel good and feel safe being yourself and taking up space. Yeah, but that's all I have for you guys, so thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope this message helped and resonated and brought you clarity. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this. I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!